Hello, I'm Azai. Welcome to Aokana Extra 2, which is Misaki's after-story game. So, I don't know anything about this game other than the fact that, the synopsis for the game on vndb, which is basically, there's like 3 paragraphs, right? Or was it like 2 paragraphs? But basically, after Misaki fought or did the duel and won the fall tournament against Asuka, she's kinda thinking about herself or contemplating whether or not she's gonna stick with FC, right? And that's like the whole premise, which is very interesting to me because, like, you thought that after what we saw in the base game, like, it would be an happily ever after story, right? But it goes to show that Misaki is definitely the most interesting character in the game. Like, she's definitely more in-depth than most of the characters. And I guess the developers also love her because she has the most H scenes. And the only thing that I guess I got spoiled on is when I went to Steam. This game has 16 achievements, while Mashiro has 8 achievements, so this might actually be double the size of Mashiro's after story. But I don't know. It is more expensive than Mashiro's after story, so if it is double the size and length, I'm actually gonna enjoy it. As long as there's not a lot of H scenes, and this is more of a story-focused one. But yeah, I just came back from the gym, and actually I kinda strained my neck a tiny bit. So I don't think I've ever told you guys this, but my right side of my shoulder is actually a bit lower than my left side. Probably about 2 or 3 millimeters. The reason why I know that was because I got a bike fit a couple of years ago when I first started going to, super deep into cycling, right? It's to measure the length of your arm, the length of your legs, the inseam, etc., so that you can get a better comfort and better speed transfer when you're cycling, right? So that you'd be efficient in your cycling and you wouldn't be wasting too much energy. But yeah, so I was actually straining my neck for the past maybe like 3 hours or so when I went back when I was at the gym. But it's kind of nice in a way because I actually feel that my right shoulder is going up. I went to like a chiropractor last week and they kind of did something to my like joints and tendons, and it didn't feel like anything was different until today. And now I felt like everything is just aligning in place, which is pretty interesting. When I was like doing some pull-ups, some like white grip pull-ups, I was like, why the hell does my neck up to my shoulders hurt right now? Like, it doesn't hurt as if you're, I guess calling it a strain might not be the best, word for it. It's like, there's a slight discomfort. Like, a strain is much more painful than this. But yeah, I feel like my right shoulder is just going into places that it should be, which is pretty interesting. So yeah, if you guys have some sort of weird issues with your like joints and stuff, I do recommend a very good chiropractor. Really interesting stuff that they can do. It's not really too expensive too. I think like a whole session was about $40 and it was an hour. So not bad, right? I mean, like, if I get the benefits of that just from going once, I feel like that's actually worth it. I know, like, I'm probably one of the rarer people that actually get the benefit from just one time. Because I know some people who went to chiropractors and they tried to fix their lower back or something and they couldn't do it. They bought, like, expensive mattresses. They can't really sleep that well, so yeah. For me, thankfully, my condition wasn't really too bad. The reason why I had that condition in the first place was because when I was a kid, I used to just, when you try to get your backpack, I would only sling it to one of my shoulders and not both of them. So really just bad habits, really. But yeah, enough about that. Sorry, I was actually like talking so much about the gym and exercise because I'm not gonna lie. This game is making me very passionate about the stuff that I do enjoy, which is, you know, just exercising in general. And Misaki's route is definitely one of the ones that is most realistic in terms of just how much she's practicing. Though I do think that the end, how they beat up Inui was a bit anticlimactic. But it is what it is. She did put in the effort, and she does have the skill and talent for it. But yeah, without further ado, let's just start the after story, shall we? I'm very excited about this one. After this, I'm actually gonna be eating, taking a break, and then I'm gonna be recording Venus Red Frontier because it's Saturday right now, but I had to take a break a couple of days ago since I was just so tired. I don't think I told you guys on YouTube yet, but I told people on Patreon. So tired for the past 2 days or 3 days ago. But I am back. Jeez, way to start the game. What's going on with Misaki? Let me clear up the opacity real quick. Upscaling off. The setting will impact performance on slower hardware. It's a VN. I don't think it's gonna be that impactful. Let's see. Text speed always fast for me. I actually got like a demo of a game on Steam, like I think a month ago, and when I put the text speed on fast, it actually glitched out the game. Really interesting glitch. Man, this heart rate is kind of making me awkward since I'm still hearing it. What the hell? Why is the text... Why is the text not... Text border should be on right now. There we go. That was really awkward.
頭の中が真っ白。呼吸がめちゃくちゃに乱れてる。ドン、ドン、ドン、ドン、ドン、ドン。心臓の音がすごい。体が熱い。心が熱い。灼熱の砂漠の真ん中に立っているみたいだ。だけど、全然不快なんかじゃない。だからといって、気持ちいいのともちょっと違う。試合が終わった。
You good, Misaki? Is this like exactly right after Asuka's match?
真っ白だった頭が少しずつ平常運転に戻っていく。
Okay, so I kind of need to establish the like timeline where this is. I think this is exactly after Misaki's match with Asuka and before the epilogue on the base game. Okay. So far anyway, that's what I think this is at.
すぐそばで同じように息を切らしたアスカが浮かんでいた。私は荒い呼吸を整えながら回り込むように飛んで正面からアスカを見る。
I actually need to change one thing here. I think they have the sound thing where, yeah, BGM auto adjust. That is actually something that I do not like. I don't know why people would do that, like having the BGM lower when the voice is playing. I feel that's actually a bit awkward, personally.
アスカは何か言いたそうにしているけど、言葉が出てこないみたいだ。私も出てこない。感謝したいけど、感謝を口にするのは何か違う。アスカに謝りたいことがあるけど、今ここで口にするのは何か違う。勝ったとか負けとかそういうことじゃないと思う。試合をしている時は勝ちたかったし負けたくなかった。 心の底からそう思った。だけど今は違う。この瞬間は勝ったことも負けたこともそんなのどうだっていい。すぐ結果なんかただの結果で、
Sorry about that, Misaki.
そういうのよりもっと大切な何かがあって、
I actually thought she was done.
答えは近くにあるのに思考がそこに届かない。自然と口が動く。私たちすごかったよね。
I wonder if they actually changed the writer for this after story in particular, because I do realize that this is Misaki's POV. That's the first thing I noticed, right? Just like in Mashiro's after story. Well, Mashiro's after story was probably made by the same guy because they were already doing the Mashiro POV a lot, even during her base story or her route in the base game. But I don't think we ever saw Misaki's POV all that much. Or in fact, maybe never.
そうだ、私たちはすごかったのだ。私たちですごい試合を作ったんだ。アスカもそう思ってるって確認したかったんだ。アスカと共感したかったんだ。私たちはすごかったって。ありがとう、アスカ。
こちらこそありがとうございました。また明日からよろしくお願いします。
よろしくね。マサヤ以外の誰かを抱きしめたいなんて感情を抱くのは初めてかもしれない。
すごい歓声ですね。
歓声？言われるまで気づかなかった。大勢の人々が興奮した様子でこっちを見て声を出しているのだ。声がぶつかっている。全身を叩かれているみたいだった。ブルルッとつま先から頭に向かって震えが走り抜けた。
I actually kind of wish they changed the background for this specific CG for a bit.
何を言っているかまでははっきりとはわからないけど、祝福してくれているんだってことはわかる。私、今日の試合はこれで終わりだって実感はあった。アスカにも乾さんにもガネコさんにも勝ったんだって、そういう気持ちはあった。勝ったも負けたもどうでもいいと思っていた気持ちが変質していく。結果なんかただの結果だと思っていた気持ちが消えたわけじゃないけど、勝ったんだって気持ちがようやく膨らんできた。ヘッドセット越しにマサヤに伝えようとする声が少しだけ震えてしまう。マサヤ、みんなが私のことを見てる。
Actually showing Masaya's face. I don't think we actually ever saw Masaya's face back in the base game. So, yeah. We actually see him in the after story. I've already seen his face, but it was in the anime for the most part. Of course they are. You just won the damn tournament.
そうなんだ。私優勝したんだ。言葉にした瞬間、下からタッチされたみたいにドンと頭の方に向かって全身が浮き上がったような気がした。優勝したんだ。感情がぐるぐるしてどうしたらいいのか一瞬わからなくなる。
President and Minamo-chan are heading over to congratulate you. Madoka and Mashiro are in front and behind. Don't forget to speak to Satoin-san before you leave. She was Asuka's second.
マサヤは来てくれないわけ？
I'll congratulate you last. Then we won't have to worry about keeping anyone waiting.
じっくりと時間をかけて祝ってもらおうかな。ここまで連れてきてくれてありがとう、マサヤ。
God damn it, sorry about that, Misaki. Didn't know that you were gonna laugh there at the end. You're the one who put in all the work. I'm thirsty, so I'm gonna go grab a drink. You can switch your headset off now.
わかった。
Yeah, in this route in particular, unlike Asuka, who's saying that Masaya is doing his best, right? He actually, or Misaki did not say that. He was really just putting everything on Misaki, right? Which I still feel like that's what he did in Asuka's route. But Asuka was just like this beaming, like, personality that, I guess, yeah, she would never change even after what happened in her route. While Misaki is a lot more unstable as a person.
心臓がバクバクしてる。そっか。私は優勝したんだ。ぐぐぐっと嬉しいって気持ちが膨らんでくる。体の中に収まりきらなくなったそれが喉を通過して口から出そうになっている。叫ばないと体が破裂してしまいそうだ。すごく大きな声が出ちゃう。叫び出した途端、ものすごい勢いで視界が斜め下に流れていく。なんだこれ。バンと音が響いて水しぶきが舞い上がった。
Is she tired?
びっくりした。美咲先輩どうしました？
Okay, so this is after, and maybe that was actually Misaki recalling what happened after the route ended on the base game.
どうかしたの？
それはこっちが聞きたいです。美咲先輩が急に声を出してガクンってなったんですから。
Yeah, I guess she was in a daze. I know I said this a lot on the last couple of episodes. I don't know if it was Aokana in particular, but sometimes when I said about, you know, how when girls were talking or when a lot of girls were talking in the game, I'm like dazing out. I'm actually talking about zoning out. For some reason, the word just doesn't register in my mind, you know. There's no such thing as like dazing, I think, right? Or maybe you can actually use that as a verb, but I think most people actually use you're in a daze rather than I'm dazing or something like that. I don't actually think that's a verb.
はいはい。もしかしてうたた寝してました？
寝てたというほどではないんだけど、ぼーっと考え事してたら起きてるけど夢を見てるような、寝てるんだけど起きてるような変な状態になることってない？
授業中に眠気を強引にこらえている時とか、そんな感じになります。
それになってた。
明日が中間テストの最終日だというのに余裕ありますね。それで何の夢を見てたんです？
真っ白に水シーダを食らって海に叩きつけられる光景を思い返してた。水シーダは対戦相手を水面に向かって叩き落とすように突撃するスペイン語で自殺という意味の技だ。
I don't know why they actually have to reiterate this. If you were playing this route or this game without playing the base game, I feel like there's something completely wrong with what you're doing. So that feels unneeded.
いやー、優勝 傷した直後に海面に叩きつけられるとは思ってなかったにゃ。
嬉しくて興奮しちゃったんですってば。美咲先輩のことが大好きなんですから。そうなっちゃうのは当然なんです。体当たりは愛なんですよ。
Wait, what'd she say? Okay, so it was actually Mashiro who did that. Alright. I thought she actually was too tired and then she fell on her own.
愛が重いにゃ。
だいたいそのことなら何度も謝ったじゃありませんか。
別に謝ってほしいわけじゃないって、そういうことがあったなぁと懐かしんでただけ。真白は苦笑して。
懐かしむほど昔の話じゃありませんけどね。
Misaki, I'm not gonna lie, you're actually doing my job by narrating everything that you're seeing.
そうなんだけどね。だけどふとした瞬間にかなり前の出来事だったんじゃないかって思うことがある。で、どう？進んでる？わかんないとこはあった？
ここの問題なんですけど、途中まではわかるんですよ。だけどここから先が。
ああ、これね。これは A プラス B をカッコして事乗すればいいんだよ。そしたら簡単でしょ？
どこの A プラス B ですか？
真ん中の。ほら、事乗しちゃえばそっから先はできるよね。
あ、本当だ、できました。あ、そっか、それだけのことだったんですね。
そこで事乗できるって分かっちゃえば、似たような問題で間違えることは。
はーい。あら、もしかしたらゲームをしてるんじゃないかと思ったけど、ちゃんと勉強しているのね。明日のテスト、ゲームはお預け。ちゃんと勉強している子たちには3時のおやつをあげましょう。美咲ちゃんの口に合うといいんだけど。
あ、ピザだ。
愛情のこもった手作りピザよ。
手作り？すごい。そんなことできるんですね。
うちにはピザ生地がいっぱいあるから。
いっぱい？
うどんもピザ生地も小麦粉ですから。
あ、そうか。じゃあこれはうどんになる前の生地なんだ。
お父さんが練ったのをもらってきました。うどん粉だから普通のピザよりもちもちしているのよね。美咲ちゃんはカリカリの方が好きだったりしない？
もちもちしたピザ好きです。お昼にうどんをごちそうになったばかりなのにピザまでもらっちゃって。今日のテストは午前中に終わったので、そのまま真白の家に来たのだ。中間テスト期間は3日間で、明日が最終日。
娘の勉強を見てもらっているんだから、このくらいは当然遠慮なく食べてね。
Their midterms are actually pretty low in terms of, or not low, you know. 3-day midterms is actually pretty short. Because usually in my school, I think we do about a week maybe? I think a week is like the shortest we'd have because we just have so many subjects. But I guess it's a lot different studying in Japan and Indonesia. Probably more similar to you guys in the US, I don't know.
では遠慮なく。
I only know my own curriculum.
チーズにすごく合ってとっても美味しいです。これ
そう言ってもらえると嬉しいわ。美味しいですよね。私も大好きなんです。
お店で出せるんじゃないですか？
そう言ってくれるのは嬉しいけど、うどん屋でピザを出すというのはチャレンジャーすぎるかもね。
評判になりそうですけどね。
ところで娘の勉強を見てくれるのは嬉しいけど、美咲ちゃん、自分の勉強は大丈夫？
大丈夫です。 明日のテストは絶対に80点以上はいけますから。うちの学校は相対評価じゃなくて絶対評価だから、80点以上なら90点でも100点でも評価は変わんないんですよね。
I feel like that's actually a bit unfair for people that actually got 90 and 100. If people were only trying to aim to get 80s to get an A, yeah, that would make people who aim for 90s and 100s to be... Like, it would equalize the people who are at the top bracket, I feel, right?
私は赤点を取らないよう頑張ってるのに。憎い。そんな考えで手を抜いているなんて。今ばかりは愛する美咲先輩といえども憎い。
普段の授業をちゃんと聞いてれば大丈夫だと思うけどな。
午前中はうつらうつらしてる人がそんなこと言っても説得力ありませんってば。学年順位を上げようとかそういうことは考えないんですか？
そういうのは興味ないな。通知表で5か4がもらえればそれで満足。それだけあればいざという時どっかの大学の推薦もらえるだろうし。
美咲ちゃんは秋の大会で優勝しちゃうし勉強もできるしすごいわね。
いやー、それほどでも
まあ私の美咲先輩ですからそのくらいは当然ですよね。
あの優勝当然と言われると困るけどね。奇跡的に全てがうまくいったから優勝できたんだと思う。乾さんがこっちの作戦にはまってくれたから勝てたけど、もし相撲に入るタイミングがあの時より遅かったり早かったりすればどうなっていたのかわからない。
See, this is what I'm most interested in. Like, I feel like they're gonna have a rematch Inui and Misaki here. From what we saw in Asuka's route, Inui was definitely not doing her best when she was, in the match with Misaki. She thought that... I guess she thought that Misaki was good, but she wouldn't... She didn't use her, best move. And she didn't even use her freaking cheat or freaking OP graph shoes settings. So yeah, for sure, I want to see what Misaki would have done if in the same situation as Asuka. I don't think Misaki's approach is gonna be the same though. But I guess we'll see.
アスカとの試合だって1点差。相撲に持ち込めたのにこの点差。逆に言えば相撲に持ち込めなかったらすごい失点をしていたかもしれない。
立派な先輩が仲良くしてくれてよかったわね。美咲ちゃんにはいろんな未来がありそうね。学者さんにだってなれそうだし、プロスポーツ選手にだってなれそうじゃない。
She could probably become both, true, but I don't think she can become a good athlete or a good academic if she half-asses all of those.
美咲先輩って将来どうするつもりなんです？
将来か。そんなの考えたことなかったな。
大学には行くの？
行くつもりではいますけど、おばあちゃんにあんまりお金を使わせたくないからどっかの国立に推薦入試で入るつもりではいるけど、そういえば私は何になりたいんだろう。
進藤さんみたいにプロを目指すとか考えてないんですか？
進藤さんってプロになるの？
言われてみれば聞いたことないですけど、でも進藤さんがプロにならないなんて想像できなくないですか？
確かにね。本人が口にしなくても FC への姿勢がそれを物語っている。プロを目指してない進藤さんなんて想像できない。私は進藤さんと違うかな。卒業しても FC は続けるだろうけど、プロってなるとまた話が違うじゃない？そもそも実力も才能も足りてないし、それ以前にプロになるような覚悟を私は持ってないんじゃないかと思う。
それじゃあお医者さんとかどうですか？
他人の命を預かるような仕事はちょっとな。
じゃあお花屋さんとかケーキ屋さんとかは？
小学生の夢じゃないんだからさ。そういう真白は何になりたいの？
え、私ですか？そうですね。美咲先輩のお嫁さんがいいですね。
愛が重いにゃー。
お母さん、そういうのに寛容なつもりではいるけど、ちょっとだけ娘の将来が心配かも。
将来か。私にも将来があるのか。当たり前だけど不思議。どんな形だとしても将来は絶対にやってくる。なんとなく大学に行ってなんとなく就職して、まあそれでいいと言えばそれでいいんだけど、私にやりたいことってあるのかな。私の未来、私の将来、私のなりたい私。わあ、そういうこと考えてなかったかも。
それもいいと思うわよ。自然と決まることだってあるし、それに勉強ができればいろんな選択肢に対応できるんだから。
そういうものですかね。
そういう時もあるし、そうじゃない時もあると思うけどね。
まあそうですよね。
でもいろいろできた方がたくさんの選択肢が見えるというのは間違いないんじゃないかしら。まだ時間はあるんだし、ゆっくり決めればいいと思うの。
ボタンさんの言う通りなのかもしれない。私ってどうなりたいんだろう。将来何をするつもりなんだろう。
Well, Misaki, I can say for a fact that I am. If Misaki was, let's say, 18 or 17 at this point, I am about 9 years older than you, and I still don't have an answer to that question. And I think most people actually don't. At least that's what I think anyway. Like, most people actually just do what Misaki said. They finish college, they get a job, they just float around doing whatever they, or doing whatever that can make life easier and pay the bills. And there's not necessarily anything wrong with that. It's just, I feel like that isn't really a fulfilling life, isn't it?
変な質問かもしれませんけど、困った時ってボタンさんは何を心の頼りにします？
心の頼りね。愛じゃないかしら。
愛！恥ずかしいことを平然と口にした。
お父さんへの愛もあるし、可愛い娘への愛もあるけど、なんて言ったらいいのかしらね。根拠がなくても強く思える気持ちみたいのがあると、自分をごまかせるというか。
ごまかしちゃうんですか？
言い方は変だけど、愛があれば怖いものも怖くなくなるというのはあるんじゃないかしら。
怖いものが怖くなくなるか。そう言われると分かりやすい気がする。でもどうやったらそんな気持ちが手に入るんだろう。踏み込みすぎる気がして、それは質問できなかった。
それじゃあましろ、しっかり教わるのよ。美咲ちゃん、うちの娘をよろしくお願いね。
はーい。ボタンさんは可愛らしくピラピラと手を振って部屋を出て行った。どこまでやったっけ？
ここの因数分解の問題です。
じゃあまずは問題集のこのページを自力でやってみて。ここをクリアしちゃえば赤点だけはないと思うからさ。
頑張ります。
頬をこわばらせて真っ白が問題に取り掛かるのを見て、私は心の中でため息をつき、窓の外を見る。入道雲が浮かんでいた。秋の大会が終わったのにまだ夏が続いているみたいな風景。マサヤとずっと練習していた夏休み。あの夏がずっと続いていればよかったのにな。 辛くて苦しいことがあって心はぐちゃぐちゃだったけど、それでも目指す場所ははっきりしていた。将来のことなんか考える余裕はなかった。今思えば本当に今だから思えることなんだけど、試合のために練習していたんじゃなくて、練習のために試合があったんじゃないかな。夢中に練習する日々を過ごすために試合があったのかも。試合がなかったらあんな練習をするのは無理。目標があったから毎日が必死で充実してたんじゃないかと思う。今の私はどういう将来のために今を過ごしてるのかな。私どうなりたいんだろう。漠然とした空白が胸の中に広がっていく。私はどこに行けるんだろう。というかどこに行くつもりなんだろう。優勝しちゃったんだよね。もし優勝してなかったらこんなことで悩まなかったのかもしれない。次は優勝しようって必死に思えたかも。だけど秋の大会で私は優勝したんだ。じっと見ていると入道雲が少しずつ近づいてくるのがわかる。あ、寒気に似た何かが背筋を駆け上がっていく。急に気づいてしまったのだ。秋の大会の時にマサヤに届けてもらった気持ちが今は薄くなってしまっている。あんなに努力して掴んだ気持ちなのに、それがどういう気持ちだったかうまく思い出せないような気がする。話したくないって強く思う。あの時は間違いなく私は届いていたんだ。
あれ、遠くを眺めてどうかしました？
大きな入道雲だなぁと思ってさ。
ですね。あ、そうだ、明日のテストが終わったらまたうちに来てください。うどんをごちそうします。好きなトッピングをサービスしますよ。エビ天3本まで可です。
真白がそこまで決めちゃっていいの？それはすごく嬉しいんだけど、明日はマサヤとデートの約束してるんだよね。
そうなんですか？じゃあマサヤ先輩と一緒でもいいのでぜひ来てください。
時と場合によるかな。これからデートに行くという時にうどんを後輩にごちそうになってからというのはデートに対する真面目さに欠けている気がするのだ。
もし来てくださったら美味しいおうどんをごちそうしちゃいますからね。
ありがとう。はいはい、そんな話はいいから問題を解くように。苦笑混じりに言って再び窓の外を見た。さっきよりも入道雲が大きくなっている気がする。白の中に灰色が混じっている。今にも雷の音が聞こえそう。夕立になるかも。胸の奥が少しだけ痛い。ダメダメダメダメ。将来の悩みなんて私くらいの年だったらみんな抱えてることだと思う。明日はせっかくのデートなんだから無理やりにでもテンションを上げていこう。心を切り替えていかないと。不意に真白が天井を見上げた。バラバラバラバラっと音がする。
天気雨が降ってきましたね。あの雲から雨が流れてきたんでしょうか。
そうかもね。私は頬杖をついて適当に返事をした。
Can't believe that actually gave me a freaking achievement.
いい天気だな。
Misaki reaches her arms out above her head as she stretches onto her tiptoes. Yeah, great weather today. I kinda like where this is going so far. The prologue does set the tone for how the rest of the story is gonna become, right? I'm not trying to undermine Mashiro's after story in any way, but I feel like the scale in which Mashiro's worries were compared to Misaki's was just definitely on such a smaller scale. And don't get me wrong, as I said, every individual like responds to every stimulus differently, every like event differently. To Mashiro, of course, what she was dealing at the time was very difficult for her, right? But to me, personally, I felt like it wasn't really anything that was difficult, right? But I feel like, objectively speaking, though I guess it can't really be defined objectively in this case, I don't know, globally speaking, I guess, Misaki's worries is just broader, right? And not... It's more about anxiety, I guess, rather than Mashiro. Like, Misaki doesn't actually know what it is that's causing her problems, while Mashiro knows it's mostly her personality that's, you know, that's the deep root of the cause, right? And I feel like I personally relate more to this sort of issue than Mashiro. Because if I know, like, the source of the problem, I also know the answer to that problem. It's just whether or not I want to do that exact action or not, right? But in this case, in Misaki's case, it's like we don't even know what the question is for the most part, so we kind of just have to go into the ocean without learning how to swim. That's like the best metaphor I can probably give. Is it actually a metaphor? I don't know. Like, you know, you guys know what I'm talking about. I don't know if that's actually the right word for it, though. The calendar would have you think it's fall, but the sun is so bright it may as well be midsummer. Just standing still is enough to make you break out into a light sweat. In Misaki's case, it's also because what she did on the base game is that Masaya was actually forcing her to do what he wants her to do, and not Misaki herself wanting to do that. Sure, in the middle part of it, Misaki does have feelings for Masaya and that strengthens her resolve, but it's not like she wanted to continue FC from her own initiative and realization. It was Masaya forcing her to do it, right? That's why she has second thoughts about this. Misaki clenches her fists and brings them up in front of her chest.
よしよしよーし、こうじゃなくっちゃね。夏休みを取り戻せそうな気がしてきた。
The weather's good enough to swim in. Misaki hops on the spot and shouts.
秋の大会が終わって、今日で中間テストも終わって、なんという解放感でしょうか。
Today was the last day of our midterms. All the exams were over by noon, so we decided to go on a date in the afternoon.
この解放感、文学的には空を飛ぶような気持ちっていうのかもしれないけど、空を飛んでも私たちはそうなったりしないもんね。
Flying is so commonplace these days, it doesn't feel like anything special, huh?
だよね。
Admittedly, the first time I flew, it did feel liberating. Naively, I thought that I could go anywhere. But I didn't have that much freedom in truth. You can only fly as long as your graph shoes have charge, and there are rules to keep besides. Not to mention you're limited by the performance of your graph shoes. I feel like the localization of this is actually also a different translator. I mean, it has been 5 years since the release of Mashiro's after story, so I wouldn't be surprised if Nekonyon had a change in staff and QC people.
FC のことを思い出すとますます解放感からは程遠いよね。
Especially since you like to engage your opponents at close quarters.
開放的じゃなくて閉鎖的な気持ちになっちゃうかも。
I still feel like FC is the sport that brings me closest to the sky though.
FC は空でするスポーツだけど
That's not what I meant. I don't know how to describe it exactly. I don't know exactly where the sky I'm thinking of is, but it's FC that brings me closest to that sky. You know how with track or swimming, there are moments where you're close to the sky? What? Huh? What are you talking about? I don't know what the fuck this guy's talking about. That doesn't happen in cycling. Misaki snorts like I'm a mad raving lunatic. Like a moment where you feel like you're just yourself, or like you're melting. Oh, he's talking about the runner's high thing. When you're like so exhausted that you kind of feel high. Which I feel like you might feel it in FC, but that's more so because of the lack of oxygen, because of the difference in pressure when you're so high up. So, I don't know. I feel like it's not really from overexertion.
文学的なことを言うマサヤさんですね。
Misaki says teasingly before suddenly getting serious.
でも何を言いたいかちょっと分かったかも。それってマサヤが私を届けてくれた時の話だったりする？
Yeah, I'd say that counts. I long to be like Misaki. Oh, I didn't mention this, but maybe this after story is actually what made Minamo-chan popular. Because you saw in the opening that Minamo-chan actually did not use her mask anymore. And she kind of tried to rival Misaki. I assume maybe she's trying to actually take Masaya from Misaki or something in this route. I guess we'll see. I don't doubt Misaki's love, but just like any feeling, without commitment, it can be prone to, you know, a fleeting, like, emotion. It can change and it can deteriorate, right? That's why I feel like when it comes to any sort of emotion, commitment is one thing that, you know, as a person that you should have. What I want from love is not necessarily just the affection from people, right? I want a commitment. I want something that would tie us together forever. Right? And I think that's definitely not something most people think about when they think about love. They're not looking for commitment, they actually just want affection, right? I wish I could fly and experience what you felt in that moment. I'm certain that goes for anyone who plays FC, not just me. Misaki looks up at the sky, to the cloud floating in it.
あの時の気持ちは残っているけど、正直に言うとなくしちゃったとこもある。マサヤが届けてくれたのにごめん。
That's only normal. It was because the fall tournament turned out the way it did that Misaki made it. No athlete can maintain those feelings forever. For every day you're on top of the world, there's a day you're at the bottom. See, here's the thing though. While Misaki is feeling like that right now, she is not looking at people outside of the fall tournament. She's not looking at people way above her league, right? That's why she can actually feel this sort of like dominating feeling about her. It's basically the same feeling that she has when she gets a good grade, right? She's not rivaling or she's not going against people who are clearly above her. She's just going above, or yeah, she's going above the majority of people. Which, of course, if they don't have talent, they're not even gonna try FC in the first place, right? So it's not really a fair comparison.
でも届いたんだという気持ちはずっとあるから、ああいう私がいたんだって気持ちは絶対に忘れない。またいけるって思える。だからありがとうね、マサヤ。
Hey, you're the one who made it. Besides,
ごめん、この話はやめよ
she interrupts me, grabbing my hand in a burst of spirit.
う。せっかく解放された気分なんだから FC の話はやめよう。どうせ嫌というほど考えないといけない時が来るんだからさ。今はデートの時間。マサヤさん OK？
Got it.
ではでは、ビーチに行く前に教官へ。
Urawaki Church. We also saw Misaki in the wedding dress, and it seems like Ganeko is gonna play a big part in this story. I thought it was gonna be Inui too, but I guess we'll see. Maybe they actually don't want to spoil Inui coming back to the story too. But you know for a fact that this after story got a lot more budget than Mashiro's after story, with so much like even action sequence going on in the opening. Sorry if you guys heard that. I was readjusting my position on the chair, so there was some creaking. It's a small thing, hidden away close to the beach. The first thing that comes into view is a very churchly spire. It glistens amid the green scenery, the sun reflecting off its white walls. I don't remember exactly how we arrived at the topic, but we ended up looking into nearby attractions when we decided we were going to the beach. I also realized that this game is divided into chapters, while Mashiro's was just like one full-blown chapter with achievements sorta telling you that, you know, this is how much progress you are in the after story. Well, I feel like this after story is divided into chapters because there's probably a theme dividing the chapters. You often hear it said that locals don't go to tourist destinations, and as a matter of fact, neither Misaki nor I had been to Urawaki Church before. The sort of theme for our date today is making up for the summer we lost at training. We went on dates over summer break, of course, but we always had training in the back of our minds. We couldn't do anything too strenuous, or it would slow down Misaki's recovery. It turns out that simply cutting down the food you eat isn't actually the best way to lose weight. It's important to have cheat days where you can eat what you want and get rid of stress too. I mean, it depends on people. I personally don't have cheat days until like maybe 3 months or maybe every couple of months, you know? Because I know my own habits and I know my own personality. Because it's like sometimes we do know this, but the fact that we don't have or we don't want to prevent stuff from happening, right? Like, we know ourselves the best for sure. Like, everyone else can try to guess what they know about us, but we know ourselves. We know our habits, we know our personality, right? And it really depends on what your personality is or not your personality, it depends on your action in how you act to certain stimulus, right? I know I'm actually talking about a lot more, not really detail, but more concrete stuff this episode compared to usual. But that's because I've been watching some more philosophy stuff on YouTube lately. And because I major in psychology precisely because I like philosophy. But the subject or the major itself is not really that interesting to me. Like, you know, everything that's connected to it, like the whole study of it. Like, philosophy is like the main thing that's really interesting to me, but it's like a minority, or it's like very minor compared to every other subject. That's like economics and psychology, or, you know, like HRD, stuff like that, which is more useful in the current world, I can't deny that, but it feels like it doesn't fulfill me, right? While philosophy actually does make me feel satisfied and fulfilled, if I think about it, because I'm one of those guys that really like contemplation. That's why I talk about a lot during these segments where I let's play visual novels and stuff. And I do find that enjoyable. I don't know if people find that enjoyable. I hope they do. Because if not, I don't know why you guys are watching my videos. You guys could actually be playing the game yourselves if you don't want to hear my contemplation or like just overthinking in general. But yeah. But going back to what I said about this, it's not really important to have cheat days. It's important if you are the type of person that need cheat days. But if you're like me, who is easily, like, I can easily let go. Like, I have very strict schedules about what I eat, when I train, when I eat, stuff like that, right? But if I let go of that for 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, it's easy for me to just let go of it for the whole year. And to prevent that, I actually don't do that at all. And I only reward myself if I think I made sufficient progress. But yeah, sorry, just wanted to actually say that, and then I ramble on about some random stuff again, as per usual. Sorry. Most of our summer dates revolve around that and were, in effect, just another part of her training. But yeah, this is also something that I really like with Misaki's route. It touches a lot on the characters' thoughts, feelings, and everything about them in a lot more detail than... And like I said, it's a lot more relatable to me than, say, Mashiro, which is, to me, Mashiro's, like, anguish and thoughts, it's probably more normal for most people to think about what she's thinking. But to me, they're really not all that hard to try to fix, you know? So I completely understand why Misaki said she didn't want to talk about FC today. Misaki currently has her arms spread out to the side as she skips down the path.
おお、白い綺麗な花がいっぱい咲いてる。
The slope leading to the church is covered by a field of white flowers. 4 petals sprout like butterfly wings from the compact base of each flower. Stamens and pistils, relatively long compared to the size of the flower, stretch out from the middle. Misaki leans in close to one.
高貴な感じがする花ですな。
Refine? You mean like Satoin-san?
佐藤院さんの花だと思ってみると、咲いている数が数だけに圧倒されちゃうな。
I do appreciate the fact that they actually have a close-up just for the flowers like that. Pretty nice. You make a good point. Oh my god, this is so annoying. I can almost hear Satoin-san speaking as I watch the flowers swing in the breeze.
でも、佐藤院さんの高貴さとは種類が違うかな。佐藤院さんのは、なんだろう、プライド？自分が自分であることを堂々と主張してる感じがするけど。
And these flowers aren't like that?
違う。この花はそういうのじゃなくて、いや、自己主張はしているんだけど、
Misaki takes a sniff of the flower, then breathes a deep sigh and stares at it.
もっとこう、その痛々しい感じ？
Is that really cringy in English? I don't know. I don't know Japanese enough to know her expression there. Are you sure these flowers aren't Satoin-san? Her activation key is pretty cringe if you ask me.
我が翼に青の祝福を。
The activation key Satoin-san uses to start her graph shoe is Grant thy azure blessing to mine wings. Not something most people could say with a straight face. Misaki recoils in an exaggerated manner.
佐藤院さんのことを痛々しい人だと思ってたんだ。これは明日高藤で報告しないと。佐藤院さんの耳に入れないと。
Don't try to pick a fight for no reason.
佐藤院さんがマサヤを暴力的にとっちめるとこ見たいな。
There are dark times ahead for the future of FC on this island if the president of Takafuji ends up beating up the president of Kunahama. Personally, I didn't think I was a great fit for the role, having broken us up into 2 groups over summer break. But in the end, everyone decided that I would be the next FC club president.
未来ね。
Misaki mutters to herself while smiling for some reason.
とにかくこの花はそういう痛々しさじゃ ゃなくて、質？
It is?
いじめられてもまっすぐ前を向いてる女の子とか、飼い犬が死んでも我慢して泣かない男の子とか、そういう感じ。
Ah, I think I know what you're trying to get at. There's some association here, with the way those white petals look like they're trying to put on a tough appearance. You're a more sensitive person than I thought if that's the train of thought you end up on from looking at some flowers.
私って感受性の塊みたいな存在ですからにゃ。
She's actually right. She just, kinda acts aloof. Because we saw her monologue, right, throughout the prologue. And she's definitely a lot more thoughtful than you think. She says jokingly, but I can feel the emotion behind her words almost as clearly as if she were directly reaching out and touching me.
これからはマサヤに甘えに甘えて、喜怒哀楽を遠慮なく爆発させて生きていこうかなと思っております。
Go easy on me, please. I feel like I'm gonna regret saying this, but what do you mean by all sorts? Exploding with anger or happiness makes sense, but how about pleasure? What does exploding with pleasure look like?
私はわかる気がするけど、言ってもいいのかな。
I really hate you, Masaya, for saying that. Why do you just have to put everything with a horny spin on it? Are you hiding something from me? Oh, don't tell me you were going to say that's what tripping on drugs feels like.
違う、したことないし、する予定もありません。でも、私が言いたいのは、それの天然バージョンかも。
Yes, exercising, right, Misaki? When you release endorphins, right? Not when you're, you know? Misaki beams from ear to ear before leaping over to me and leaning toward my ear.
マサヤとエッチなことをして気持ちよくされちゃった時って、楽が爆発してるんじゃないかと思う。
Don't worry, we just started. There's no way there's gonna be sex just when we started, right? You shouldn't be saying that in the middle of the day. Misaki snorts with laughter. I mean, you were the one that put the spin on that. Or you were the one that was leading her on.
だから言ってもいいのかなって聞いたんじゃない。で、マサヤはどう思う？
He could have actually talked about a different sort of feeling or emotion, but of course it's pleasure, the first thing that comes out of his mouth. You're still going. I mean, yeah, you're kind of right. Pleasure. I mean, there's the light in there too. But an explosion of delight makes me think more of how Misaki was when she beat Inu in a tournament. She claps me on the shoulder like an old man and laughs.
そういう雰囲気をマサヤがちゃんと作ってくれるなら、今日だって楽を爆発させちゃってもいいんだから。頑張って、マサヤさん。
I'm not a donkey that can be swayed by carrot in front of me, Misaki. I'm not in it for a reward. If people actually, or I guess this is probably weird, but you would be surprised how many like husband and wives actually have this sort of relationship. Like if you do something to the wife, they would reward you with having sex in bed. To me, that actually feels very weird. If you don't want to have sex until I do something for you, then we shouldn't have sex. Right? The way I think about it is that if it's something that we both want, then we do it. But if I have to do something to please you first, and then we have sex, I feel like there's something wrong there in that relationship. Because like I said, I know a lot of people that actually have this sort of weird relationship like that when they got married. Pretty sure you'll end up getting in the mood without me having to do anything. Misaki recoils. I know in Misaki's case she was joking, but it actually does happen in real life, I mean.
超大ショック。そんな女だと思われていただなんて。私は流されない女なんだから。
Oh yeah? Wanna prove it? I place a hand on the back of her head and lean in close.
ちょっと待った。
You're the one who started this. It's the beginning of the game. I am not gonna believe they're gonna have an H scene right now. No. This is bait.
そうかもしれないけど、急すぎるってば。心の準備ができてない。ごめん、挑発したのは悪かったから。たまらないで、ストップ、マサヤ。キスするつもりだよね。教会のそばでそんなことするのって倫理的にどうなの？待って確認させて。
Misaki openly panics, her eyes darting around.
誰もいないけど、さっきの話から考えてどこまで？キスされたら私ダメになっちゃうの知ってるよね。キス以上のことしないよね。それで終わりだよね。
I burst out laughing and bumped my forehead against hers. Thank you. I mean, I didn't fall for the bait. What part of that proves that you do not go along with things easily? She puffs out her cheeks.
求めてばかりのマサヤに気を使ってあげただけなんだから。私の気遣いを逆手に取ってからかうなんてひどい。
Maybe if you don't bluff about talking about sexual stuff like that, Misaki, Masaya wouldn't tease you too. You sure are easy to please. Misaki shakes her head, her long hair going everywhere.
エッチなのはマサヤ。あったまに来た。デート中止、殴り合い、拳で決着をつけよう。
You hardly need to settle this with violence, or with anything for that matter.
それしかないの。
Misaki mutters sadly as she starts shadowboxing.
先に血を流した方が負けということで順番に殴り合おう。マサヤが先でいいよ。
The very thought of punching a girl until she bleeds is ridiculous. Okay, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have teased you. I mean, this is you know, eye for an eye world, Masaya. If like a girl punched me first, I think it would be fair for me to punch her too.
頭をもっとちゃんと下げてください。
I do as I'm told and lower my head. I went too far. How can I get you to forgive me?
そうだな。今日のデートは肩車で過ごすとか、ずっとおんぶするとか、そのくらいの誠意は見せてほしい。
That's what fathers do with their daughters, not boyfriends with their girlfriends. Keeping my head bowed, I reach out a hand. I mean, if you do it, Misaki's probably just gonna get flustered instead of actually wanting to do it. I don't suppose you'd be willing to reduce the penalty to hand-holding.
これは劇的な温情判決だからね。
Misaki says as she takes hold of my outstretched hand. I guess Masaya is actually not that strong though, so he probably couldn't have piggyback ride Misaki for probably more than 10 minutes or so. This is a girl. My mind screams as I feel her softness and warmth. Sometimes I sort of forget, but Misaki is a girl, and I love her dearly.
くだらない話はもうおしまいで、デート再開ね。今日くらいデートにふさわしい日はないんだから、気合を入れてしないと。可愛らしい教会でデートなんてザ・デートって感じがして盛り上がりますね。
It's certainly the right atmosphere. I think that's more of a chapel than a church, right? I don't know, maybe it's the same. Misaki drags me along by the arm until she suddenly stops dead and looks over at me darkly.
ところで、教会ってキリスト教徒以外が入っていいの？
I think you are? Huh? I don't know, actually. I think you can take a look around. If that's even the right way to describe going to a church. Misaki has question marks all over her face.
全然わかんない。
We really should have looked this up before traveling all the way here.
そもそもキリスト教に関する知識が全然ない。そのプロテスタント。
Yes? Catholics. I wonder which group this church is for. This sort of church, I think, usually is reserved for Catholics. That's why I said it's a chapel instead of a church.
ロシア正教というのもあるよね。
That one I don't know. I only know about Protestants and Catholics. I'm not very well versed in religion. And the Greek Orthodox Church, right?
サミ痛い。
One thing's for sure, we both know embarrassingly little about Christianity. Think we should leave before someone gets mad at us?
デートの邪魔をする存在は倒すしかない。つまりこういう時は強行突破。
I think there are other alternatives that we should... I think there are... Oh, sorry. They actually don't change the line or the text box when there's only... You know, like different text on the... You know, when the text is not finished, it actually doesn't go skip the text box. It's actually just on the right side. They actually continue on. Oh. Yeah, that should be Ganeko there. A girl comes out of the arched church entrance at the perfect time. Looks like she works here or something. Let's ask if we can go inside. I think she actually jobbed when we were in Rika's route. I don't know if we actually faced her or not in Misaki's route, but from what Misaki's prologue seems to say, I guess she did. And she lost to her... Or Ganeko lost to Misaki quite easily. I jog over to her. Excuse me.
はい、何でしょうか。
The girl turns around. Huh? Is this her theme? We both recognize each other at the exact same time.
マサヤ、どうし。
The girl from the church is none other than Shito Suisan's Mayu Ganeko-san. Huh? The moment Ganeko-san sees Misaki, she grimaces like she just stood on a thumbtack, before smiling as if nothing is wrong. I guess she got some sort of grudge because she lost to her.
こんなところでお会いするなんて奇遇ですね。私のアリカがいつもお世話になっています。
She says with a light bow. Her Arika? Since when did Okoze become her personal property? I've always vaguely thought as much, but Ganeko-san clearly isn't your average person. Yeah, for sure, the QCer or the translator of this game is different from the one that was translating Mashiro's route. This is a lot more consistent with the san, or you know, the suffixes on the names and such. I like that. Whoever is translating or QCing this, you did a good job. We don't actually know Okoze that well. It's Arisaka from our club that she's friends with.
でも、お世話にはなっていますよね。私の妹はやんちゃですから、ご迷惑をおかけしてなければいいのですけど。
She's acting like she's Okoze's mother.
秋の大会の優勝コンビがこんなところでどうしたんです？
Yeah, the fact that she has to, like, say that out of nowhere means she's so bitter about us winning. For some reason, her words feels thorny.
キリスト教は基本的に原生理薬を否定していますから、FC に関するお願い事でしたら、神社かお寺に行かれた方が。
We're not here for FC. Actually, we're not here to pray at all. Ganeko-san smiles.
夏休みの間、すごい特訓をして秋の大会で優勝したと聞きましたから、FC に関係ないことはしない人たちなのかも。
God, I hate this sort of like passive aggressiveness. People who can't really, or people who like masquerade or sugarcoat their words like this really don't fit well with me. I feel like I wanna like, I just want to get away from them. Or like the most horrible thing I could do is probably spit on their face. Her tone is just as thorny as it was before. Was that sarcasm I detected there? If so, why did she feel she had to say that? We're not FC machines. We do other things. And our training wasn't all that incredible.
謙遜しないでください。 聞きましたよ。山ごもりをしてブラシの能力で巨大な人食いイノシシを倒して新しい技を生み出したんですよね。
巨大人食いイノシシ、私すごい。その技をマスターすればおばあちゃんの畑を荒らす憎きイノシシを倒せるかも。
Is this island really that remote that they'd have wild boars? I don't even know where to start with this. Are boars typically carnivorous?
基本草食ですが雑食なので肉も食べるそうですよ。漁師の叔父は猟犬を食べられたそうです。飛沢さんは山の主を倒したんですよね。
Misaki clenches her fists and throws in a meaningful pause before.
はい。そして私が新しい山の主に。
Don't say that with a straight face. If you are that lord, you should be back on your mountain, not here on a date with me.
他にも巨大な岩を割ったり洞窟を作ったり久野島山中の地形や生態系を破壊して回ってると聞いたのですけど。
How on earth is FC training meant to lead to an ecological crisis? I'm sure I don't need to tell you this, but all of that was made up. I mean, graph shoes don't even have that kind of power. And even if they did, I can't see how any of it would be useful in FC.
試合中に文字通りの必殺技を繰り出せば。
FC isn't a death sport.
ねえマサヤ、次はどこの山をやっちゃう？私前から気に入らない山があるんだよね。
At least Misaki is like taking her word and jokingly accepting it, which kind of diffuses the situation for me. But if I was here alone with this Ganeko girl, oh my god. We don't really know too much about this Ganeko girl before this, right? But the fact that now we kind of see her personality, I'm never gonna get along with this girl. Don't play along with her. And what do you mean? Mountains you never liked the look of. You better not let Masha or Koze hear you making jokes like that.
それで本当は夏休みにどんな練習をしていたんですか？
Nothing special, really. I had her run on sand to build up stamina. And we used dolls to help with simulations. Stuff like that.
人形ですか？
They make things easier to visualize. FC takes place on a 3D field, so there's a lot you'll struggle to represent just using a whiteboard. Ganeko-san's jaw pulls back slightly.
それはそうですね。
もう自分が人間なのか人形なのかわからなくなるくらい本気でやってましたからね。
Why is Misaki blabbering like this? Something is clearly up. Or maybe Misaki's actually jokingly playing along with this, and on the inside she's actually fuming too. I don't know. I'm just guessing right now. Could something have happened between her and Ganeko-san that I'm not aware of?
そういう練習で乾選手に勝つ方法を思いついたということですか？
I wouldn't say we came up with the perfect answer or anything. Anyway, we came here to take a look around the church. Is that allowed here? Ganeko-san takes a moment to think.
はい。そういうことですか。
Huh? That's why what? What does she mean? Ganeko-san smiles bashfully as she asks for confirmation.
FC だけでなく私生活でもお付き合いなさっているということなんですね。
Is she thinking that we're gonna swear our vows or something on the church? Without a priest, I don't think that even is legit.
どうなんだろう。ねえマサヤさん、私たちってどういう関係なのかしら？
Why don't you just give her a straight answer?
いや、マサヤがどう答えるのか見たいなと思って。
I turn to face Ganeko-san. We're dating, yes.
残念ながら。
What part of us dating is unfortunate? None of what she's saying makes sense. Misaki forms an exaggerated expression of shame and humiliation.
付き合っているというよりも弱みを握られて何でも言うことを聞くように調教されているというか。
Yeah, I feel like Misaki right now is masquerading her character so that she doesn't know what we're truly like. Could you not make up stuff that paints me as a villain? We may have met Ganeko-san previously, but we don't know her well enough to start making those kinds of jokes around her. Seriously, something's been up with Misaki ever since this conversation started.
お二人が仲良しなのはよくわかりました。今日は練習をお休みしてデートというわけですか。練習で失った夏休みを今日で取り返そうかなと。それでガネコさんはどうしてここにいるんです？関係者なんですか？親戚が教会の管理をしていて、私も時々お手伝いさせていただいてるんです。シーズンオフのこの時期に人はめったに来ませんけど、観光スポットを無人にするわけにはいきませんから。
Ah, so that's why. For some reason, I feel like Kaneko-san belongs here at the church.
写真ですね。どうぞ入ってください。
What photo shoot? Ganeko-san spins around and goes inside the church as if leading us. Misaki and I look at each other. What photo shoot? Exactly my thoughts. This has gotta be a coincidence. Is this actually where Misaki's gonna wear that wedding dress? Like already? I would have thought that would be at the very end of the game.
ここに来た人は写真を撮るのがお決まりのパターンなのかな？
Dunno. Guess we'll find out if we follow her though. Misaki and I follow Ganeko-san into the church.
おー、
Misaki's admiration echoes in the faintly pink, domed ceiling. That's pink? I mean, if you squint, it is kind of pinkish. Light slants in through the stained glass windows, decorated with adorable, abstract interpretations of white petals. Several long pews... Pews? What are those? Line up along the rectangular space, with pillars at the base of the arches to the side. At the far end lies a beautifully carved wooden altar. It's like we've just slipped into a movie. Misaki runs into the center of the room, eyes glistening as she spreads out her arms and does a spin like an excited little girl.
近所にこんな綺麗な場所があったなんて。こういうのなんて言うんだろう。パロック？ゴシック？アールデコ？
I don't know. Just a typical church, I guess? You think I'd know? I have absolutely zero knowledge of Western architecture. Misaki slumps her shoulders in disappointment. I also don't know, sadly, Misaki.
マサヤが知ってるのは私の体のことだけだもんね。
Ah, you're gonna eat your words at some point, Misaki, by saying stuff like this. Hey, I know lots of other stuff.
他にもいろいろ。
アスカやマシロやマドカのことも知ってるっていうの？
In another timeline, yes, for Asuka and Mashiro, Misaki. Not Madoka, though. No, that clearly isn't what I meant.
日向さんは恋多き男性なんですか？
Misaki waves her hand in front of her face like she's an old granny.
そうなんですよ。もうあっちこっちですぐに下がっちゃうから管理が大変で矯正手術を考えてるんですよ。
What am I, a cat? Stop babbling on about nonsense in front of Ganeko-san.
はいはい。
That response clearly means she has no intention of stopping.
では衣装代込みで3000円です。先払いでお願いします。これは教会の保全費として使わせていただきます。更衣室はあちらです。
3,000 yen is surprisingly cheap, I think. For, you know, like rental and everything? Like a whole photo shoot for this? That's kind of cheap.
はーい、わかりました。3000円ですね。
Please, can you just not when we don't even know what's going on? It's not exactly uncommon for Misaki to get like this, but around someone she doesn't know very well, it doesn't add up. We have no idea what kind of place this church is. What's this about a rental fee? Ganeko-san tilts her head to the side curiously.
写真撮影が目的ではないんですか？
Nope. As I said earlier, we just came to look around. We know nothing about this place. Ganeko-san looks surprised, then lowers her head.
そうでしたか。早とちりしてすみません。
Oh, no. We really should have looked this place up before we came.
マサヤはちゃんと調べもせずにその場のノリだけで行動するから私みたいな女に捕まっちゃうんだよね。
You think I could decide to go out with you just cause I got carried away? Does she even realize how much trouble she is?
どうかな。
Something's clearly wrong. Why is she pushing herself to try and be funny?
ミサや結婚式などがない日は撮影スタジオとしても開放しているんです。それなりに人気なんですよ。アイドルの写真集で使われたこともあるんです。そうなんだ。確かにそれっぽい雰囲気ある。こんな綺麗な聖堂で記念撮影できたら素敵ですね。コスプレで撮影をされる方もいますね。
I don't know much about celebrities. She clearly said idols, but I guess those are celebrities in Japan. But I can see this being the kind of scene that pops up a lot in anime. Yeah, see? Who the fuck associates anime and celebrities?
こちらで衣装の貸し出しもしてます。とは言っても種類があるわけではなくてウェディングドレスだけですけど。ウェディングドレスか。
Am I gonna be in a tuxedo or something?
撮影に訪れるカップルが多いのでそれが目的で来たのだとばかり思ってしまいました。
Why would you wear a wedding dress when you're not getting married?
わかってないな。女の子は結婚式じゃなくてもウェディングドレスを着てみたい生き物なんだから。綺麗で清楚で素敵じゃない？
They're also annoying to wear though. Misaki rocks from side to side.
綺麗な教会でそんなサービスがあるなんて超素敵かも。
Ganeko-san nods deeply.
ウェディングドレスは素敵ですね。私も撮影しました。え、本当ですか？見ますか？ぜひお願いします。
Probably with a cozy or something. This is gonna be awkward. Ganeko-san takes her phone from her pocket, swipes her fingers across the screen, then hands it to Misaki.
おお、綺麗なウェディングドレス。
Misaki falters, or maybe she's the one actually using the tuxedo. I peer over her shoulder. Oh, sorry. That oh was actually my reaction, and then the text actually said oh. That's why I was actually unprepared to voice act that. Oh, they're both actually in wedding dresses. There's a photo of Ganeko-san wearing a beautiful white wedding dress on the screen. Only standing next to her, in a similarly beautiful wedding dress, is Akoze. It's about what I expected, all things considered. I know how those two get on, so it makes sense. All understandable. Except... there's something... how do I put this? Wrong about this. Damn, Akoze? Is she actually that stacked? First I'm actually looking at her boobs. Akoze looks too embarrassed. Ganeko-san too happy. The picture seems so alive that I can practically feel the mood that was in the room when it was taken. Misaki keeps up appearances with a smile, having determined that her life would be in danger were she to put her foot in it now.
綺麗ですね。スライドするともっと画像がありますよ。あ、はい。
I hate this music, by the way. This is the music that plays when the fucking H scene is going on. I guess this is supposed to be like the love music, but oh my god, it's traumatic. Misaki's eyes dart around. This is wrong. I shouldn't be looking at this. No more. The tension in Okoze's face lessens with every photo that comes up, being replaced by the expression of a girl enraptured. Her eyes have melted over, her mouth hanging loosely open. I'm pretty sure this counts as softcore. It does? It does? What? It does? What are you talking about, Masaya? Do you actually not watch porn or some shit? Or actual, like, gravure? Kaneko-san's lips are right next to Okoze's cheek, and her hand right next to the surprisingly large chest of the short girl. I mean, she's technically not fondling her, but that is kind of a risque pose. I sort of know what to expect from any further pictures, yet at the same time, who knows what they could show. In any case, I really shouldn't look at them. It'd be no surprise to me if Kaneko-san's hand ended up slipping right into Okoze's wedding dress. These, sure are lovely photos. I'm going to get a guilty conscience if I see any more photos of Okoze like this. Oh no, the freaking achievements are actually procking pretty fast. I said they have like 16 achievements, but we already got 3. What the fuck? No, I actually want this. I want this after story to be longer. No. I'm liking this so much right now. Please. Please let it actually be long. Kaneko-san takes her phone back from Misaki with a smile. I also hate the fact that this is, like I said, is probably like mimicking people that are in their Yuri phase or whatever in high school. So if you guys don't know, I think I discussed this briefly on the base game when Misaki and like Mashiro's like senpai kohai relationship were like, right? But Kaneko and Okoze is about the same, I guess. And I guess that is what happens in girls-only high schools in Japan. I don't know whether or not this is true, but I guess they do have that sort of phase in real life. But it's a really weird phase, personally, like my own opinion. Because it's just the fact that at this point in time, like, people's identities just aren't formed enough, and they're kind of just forced into the situation into liking girls like that. Because their circumstances are like that, right? They don't have like enough socialization with boys unlike in a co-ed school and stuff like that. I don't know, to me this is just creepy, to be honest. Instead of them actually making a trope of this, I feel like it's kind of unneeded. This is terrifying. Kaneko-san might just be a natural-born sadist. Misaki panics and looks at me. I ignore the dumb joke. If you want to wear it, Misaki, then why not go for it? I'd like to see you in a wedding dress. Besides, it's only 3,000 yen. To be honest, 3,000 yen is a tough ask at the moment. What with my lack of a job and all. But if it will make Misaki happy, it's a small price to pay. I feel like Japanese people here are very... responsible about money. Like, when I was in high school, of course, I am definitely privileged in not having to work a secondary job or a part-time job or anything in high school. But I think most people around my age here in Indonesia anyway, actually don't have to do part-time job. And get like a, you know, a monthly allowance. Misaki starts to pout. Yeah, that is kinda cheap, like I said. Would it kill you to mind your phrasing? I'm not doing this to satisfy my own lust here. Misaki looks at me through upturned eyes, as if she's about to cry.
マサヤにはそういう欲望ないの？
Huh? Oh, I do. I think you'd look cute. Misaki giggles softly.
やめとく。
Weren't you just saying how lovely those wedding dresses are?
自分が面倒な女の子だなという自覚はあるわけです。そんな私がウェディングドレスを着たらもっと面倒な存在にレベルアップするのは確実だと思うんだよね。
Yeah, can't have you wear the wedding dress too soon now. How so?
衣装の意味が強すぎるじゃない。変にテンションが上がってマサヤに迷惑かけそうな気がする。だから今はやめとく。
If Misaki insists, then I should drop the subject. I kinda understand what she's getting at anyway. Personally though, I don't think I'd mind all that much if it happened.
それにそんな写真を持ってたらマサヤの死後他の誰とも付き合えないと思うんだよね。
You'd be surprised how many people still marry in the in the real world, Misaki. Why do you make everything sound so sinister?
いやそもそも他の誰かと付き合うなんて想像することもできないけどさ。
Misaki suddenly grimaces.
また文字書くの重いこと言ってる？
Nah, not really. I'm happy to know you feel that way.
ありがとう。とにかくやめとく。そんなことしたら変な覚悟ができてしまいそうでちょっと怖い。
There you have it. We're going to pass on the opportunity for today.
飛沢さんは変なところで気を使う性格なんですね。
This is not considerate. The implication is that she's gonna marry Masaya in the future. Well, these two, I feel like clearly Ganeko doing that with Okoze is just... It's a phase thing. Like, they're not gonna be able to do this like 10 years into the future. It's not because I think that lesbians aren't a thing. It's because, like, I think this situation is manufactured and not the fact that they actually like each other in that way.
いや自分がちょっと変だって自覚はあるので。
Ganeko-san fixes up her posture.
ではせっかく来たのですから教会を案内しましょうか。一応ガイドもしているんです。これは無料です。
You'd do that for us?
私がここにいる理由の一つがそれですから遠慮なさらなくてもいいんですよ。ガネコさんみたいな可愛い人がガイドしてくれるなんてそれだけで話題になりそうですけど。ありがとうございます。可愛さはともかくとして私がここにいるのは年に何度もありませんから。学業も FC の練習もありますからね。
She clears her throat.
それではまずこの教会の成り立ちから説明します。昔の日本ではキリスト教が禁止されていたことや隠れキリシタンがいたことは知ってますよね。
A bit, yeah. I think like cults were pretty rampant in Japan back in the day. Ganeko-san bows to us.
これで裏脇教会の説明は終わります。ありがとうございました。とても勉強になりました。
Yeah, we certainly did. Just how important this building is, and why it should be preserved for generations to come, has been drilled into us. Not exactly the sort of thing you want to learn about in the middle of a date. Ganeko-san started back in the Edo era, telling us in great detail about the Shito crackdown, one of the largest oppression movements against Christians at the time. That's probably a reference to an actual thing that happened in Japan. There was a jail near this church where the clandestine Christians were subject to horrific torture. Many of the young and elderly perished there. Another story she had to tell was of how the church's walls had been painted black during the war, so that it couldn't be used as a landmark during air raids. This place has a dark and gloomy history. While I am now painfully aware of how important the freedom of religion is, our date has also had all the fun sucked out of it. I'd hoped to hear a more cheery tale, perhaps about how this church had served as a place of salvation for people throughout the ages. But instead, we were treated to what felt like a handpicked selection of its darkest moments. I mean, she's probably purposely doing it.
した牢屋の跡地がありますから寄ってみたらどうですかそうですねそうしてみます
If only you were sensitive enough to know that Misaki doesn't like this girl, Masaya. Just get her out of here.
それと
We want to hurry up and get away from here before she can say anything more.
明日高藤学園で合同練習があるという話をアリカから聞きましたけどデートをしている余裕はあるんですか
Huh? The sudden change in topic takes me by surprise. You call it a joint practice session, but it's more of an evaluation meeting to go over the events of the fall tournament. The players need time to recover mentally and physically.
反省会ですか秋の大会で優勝したのに反省することがあるんですか
God, everything she says is full of venom. Ugh.
ないわけがないですよいろいろありますすごくたくさん
Here's the thing, okay? Just because you won, like the whole championship, doesn't mean that you stop learning or you stop, like, trying to get better at your... You know, like, I know this is, like, super obvious or people say it a lot, but the number one opponent in sports is usually yourself. So you gotta keep improving against yourself. Misaki suddenly blurts out.
そうですか私にとっても反省の多い大会でしたではデートの続きを楽しんでください
God, I really hate this girl. If she's the main antagonist, I can't wait for us to actually, like, you know, like, showdown and destroy her. Fuck. This sort of attitude, like, ugh, really pisses me off.
いろいろとありがとうございました
こちらこそお話できて楽しかったです
She said that in an awfully polite tone.
あそうだそこの斜面に白くて可愛い花がたくさん咲いてましたけどあれはなんて花なんですか
Ganeko-san gazes over to the slope.
白鳥草です昔花壇で育てていたらしいのですが生命力と繁殖力が強くていつの間にかあそこで咲くようになってしまったそうですよ
はあ可愛いのに独立心が旺盛な花なんですね
このまま増えて気づいたら死闘が白鳥草で覆われていたなんてことになるかもしれませんねそうなる前に飛沢さんの必殺技で地面を掘り返してもらって
ガネコさんのお願いとあれば
Stop acting like that's something you can actually do.
白鳥草かよく見たら白鳥に似てるのかな
鳥の白鳥ではなく白い蝶々の白鳥ですよ
ああなるほどそれなら簡単に納得できる
飛沢さんあのお花がお好きですか
そうですね好きですなんだか高貴な雰囲気があってドキドキしちゃうかも
The corners of Ganeko-san's mouth turn upward. She's gonna tell, like, the meaning of the flowers or something, and it's gonna be a bad word.
白鳥草の花言葉は雪吊りの声
God. She is just full of venom.
私にぴったりの花だ
Misaki, you really don't have to humor her. How so?
それがこじれて結果的にこうなってるわけじゃない
You technically can't, but like I said, I mean, with commitment, it will last forever. Well, we've known each other forever, so I wouldn't call this fleeting regardless.
お二人は面白いんですね。それでは今度こそデートの続きをどうぞ。
After a slight bow, Ganeko-san turns around and heads back into the church. Misaki waits for her to vanish before speaking up.
はあ、しかしあれだね。覚悟のない状態で人が不幸に死んじゃう話を聞かされるって来るものあるよね。
I mean, she's clearly trying to bring our mood or tension down, Misaki.
どうする？右に1キロくらい行くと牢屋の跡地があるらしいけど、行く？もう今日は郷土史を勉強デートにしちゃう？
Let's change things up and go to the beach. This might be the last day of summer we get this year after all. Sure, we've been mentally wounded, but that's no reason to change our plans.
よし、気分を切り替えていこう。でもあんな弾圧のあった場所の近くではしゃいでいいのかな？
If only Masaya was a lot more, you know, like I said, sensitive, we could have saved Misaki from this hassle. I'm telling you, we're gonna swap mindsets completely. Though first, there is something that's been bothering me. Why were you acting so off while we were talking to Ganeko-san? Misaki puts up an embarrassed smile.
気づいてた。
I mean, I kind of realized it the first the first sentence that came out of your mouth, Misaki. It was hard not to from the way you were babbling.
私を見た瞬間、怖い顔になったんだよね。
I noticed that too. She looked like she was in agony for just a moment.
私の勘違いかもしれないけど、秋の大会の時のことを思い出したんじゃないかなって。
I mean, she lost because clearly she didn't have, you know, she wasn't better than us. If she was like subjecting the source of the hatred to us instead of her own lack of competence, that's actually on her. It's not something that we should be humoring or pay attention to. Misaki's opponent in the semi-final had been Ganeko-san.
秋の大会が終わった後に、もし乾さんに偶然会ったとしたら、私はすぐにその場から立ち去ると思う。試合は試合って思っても、やっぱり気まずいというか、冷静じゃいられないよ。
Yeah, I get that.
もし目がバッチリあって話すしかない状態だったら、何かしたかもしれない。
Like what?
変にテンションが上がって冗談を言いまくったかもしれないし、軽い嫌がらせをしたかも。本当にするかは分かんないけど、そういう自分を想像するのは簡単。
Right, but I doubt anyone would be able to stay calm in a situation like that. It's easy enough to say that what happens in a match stays there, and life would be so much easier if you could do that, but it's really not so simple. Yeah, in a match, there's clearly a winner and a loser. That's the harsh truth.
こんな言い方したくないんだけどさ、私は勝った立場だからそこまで特別な感情はないけど、ガネコさんにはそういう気持ちがあったんじゃないかなって。
Yeah, she might. Victors are often oblivious to the feelings of the losers, but Misaki's had her own setbacks, so she can understand what it feels like.
気持ちを上げておかないと、ガネコさんの雰囲気に飲まれて逃げ出しちゃいそうな気がしてさ。
I don't think she actually said the fleeing thing. Why would you need to flee? You're the one who won.
勝った相手の側にも負けた相手の側にも居づらいよ。アスカやみなもちゃんは別だよ。気持ちが通じてると思うから。だけどそうじゃない人とはどうしたらいいか分かんなくて困る。
I'm not gonna lie, if I was in Misaki's shoes, I wouldn't pay attention to any of her venom and just leave her. Clearly, she doesn't respect us by doing that in the first place. I don't have time for people that don't respect me, you know? You take things so seriously, Misaki.
知らなかった？私は真面目なんです。
Yeah, but the thing is, Misaki is much kinder than I am. I personally never think of myself as a kind person. And I know that as a fact. It's not that I'm just saying this, I know that as a fact. Because I'm looking at myself objectively. You often hear stories of rivalry leading to friendship. But I'd wager that happens less than you think. You give a match your all, and in the end, you win or lose. Not to say that I'm also an evil person though, right? I'm more like neutral for the most part, but I'm definitely not kind. The latter will inevitably get you down. It's not easy to be friendly with someone who put you in that situation. Though there are people like Asuka who can immediately overcome those feelings of disappointment.
金子さんのことよく知らないけど、きっと普通の状態じゃなかったと思う。
Even if that isn't how she is normally, the fact that she put that attitude just for us is, I don't know, it took effort trying to do that. I do not respect people that don't respect me, like I said. And I don't care about their circumstances. Sorry, I don't have time to care about your circumstances. Maybe. Misaki slaps her cheeks to get herself fired up.
よし、海だ、水着だ、海水浴だ。
I get on board and shout along. Yeah, it's beach time, baby.
行こう、ビーチ。
I grab Misaki by the hand and pull her into a run.
海だ。今日はまだ夏休み。
Sorry, Misaki, but I think this is gonna be where I call it an episode. This was actually a very nice first episode. Like I said, the prologue actually sets the tone of what the after story is gonna be like for the rest of the game. And yeah, I really like that. Right? This route, or Misaki's route in general, focuses a lot more on Masaya's mental anguish and also Misaki as a character. In the base game, of course, Masaya was, like I said, pushing his own beliefs and what he believes in so that Misaki got pushed forward and didn't have time to actually think about what it is that she wanted. So basically, Masaya entrusted everything to Misaki and she obliged, right? Because like I said, she's a kind person. If if I was in Misaki's shoes, I would probably like deny Masaya. Like, for sure. Even if he said that he knows what the hell Misaki's feelings, or he knows what Misaki's feeling. Like I said, at the time of the route, every people react to different things differently. Even if we are, like, in the same circumstances, like, there are a couple of different things that happen there's a couple of different factors already in place, right? Masaya was really small back then, while Misaki is what? 17, 18, like I said? So, a difference in age is also it can be a determining factor in how people, like, react differently to certain events. But yeah, I like this. I delve deep into the characters of the game and give my own thoughts and opinions about, you know, I like this when I play visual novels. Like, I know I've been not really saying that I like Aokana as much as I have with Venus Blood Frontier. But the thing is, I, for the most part, am a nerd. I don't really game all that much anymore, but I like stats, I like reading up lore, that kind of stuff, right? And while gameplay visual novels are usually fun, these type of visual novels are definitely more my type of thing, where it kind of pushes you to think forward and yeah, just think deeper into, like, the implications of what certain characters do. And I don't necessarily want the story or the game to actually tell me whether I'm right or wrong, but just the fact that they imply stuff and make you think is, to me, what's fun about it. But okay, enough about that. like I said, I'm gonna go call it an episode here for Misaki's after story. This is the first episode. But hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Give this video a like if you guys like it. Sub if you guys haven't. Patreon will be getting these episodes early access along with everything uncensored. And of course, the uncensored part is most likely gonna be at the very end once the route is actually resolved. But yeah, I'm gonna go take a short break. Probably edit out this video, eat some food, and I'm gonna go record some Venus Web Frontier for today. So for people on Patreon, I will see you in about maybe 3 hours. For people on YouTube, I will see you on the next episode for Misaki's after story, which is probably in 2 or 3 days. See ya!